All right, here we're going to plant our loofah seeds. So we moved here late in the planting season, so unfortunately I could not plant any of my seeds ahead of time. Normally I would plant these um, probably like February, March, because loofah seeds do need a longer growing season. They prefer a warm climate, so you want to start them indoors, have them in the heat, warmth, and under a growing lamp. And I actually had some growing until we moved, and unfortunately when we moved they died, and that's why we're starting over. So what I did was I took the remaining of my loofah seeds, this is what I have left, and I soaked them for probably too long. So we'll see. I'm not even entirely sure we're going to get these to grow because I think they'll be okay, but we're going to try. I soaked them for like 2 days. You really only need to soak them for 24 hours. What I'm going to do, I will probably score a couple of these. So if you do that, so loofah seeds have a really hard outer coating, shell-like thing here, and so you soak them to get it to kind of soften to be able to sprout better, and then you can take the edge that's not pointy. So see how there's like one roundish and then one kind of pointy end? You can take the round edge and kind of just nick that with some like scissors, or you can even use like some sandpaper or whatever. So we're just going to open it up and allow that to germify. Is that a word? Ha! Germinate. Germinate's the word I'm looking for. To germinate a little bit easier. Okay, what I'm going to do, because I don't think my heating pad is hot enough for these, I'm actually going to do it in my containers that have lids. These are specific, these have done really well for me. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, I know I have 4 of them here, but I can't remember what packet came in. But these are really nice because they have 3 layers. Okay, so here's your bottom tray where the water's gonna go. Here's where your seeds and dirt is gonna go, and that sits right in there. And then the top layer is a dome, so it allows things to grow up and have plenty of space. And on here you can see there's 4 holes. You can see how that's a hole, and then you can like close it so you can let as much air flow in through there as you want. This is going to be your top that sits over there, and then right here there is a plug. So these, I have the cords inside, and I'll show you the setup in a different video once they're all sitting ready to go. They're going to be inside, and they like plug in to where it's a light, so there's little lights in there. So these have worked really well for me for other things. Oh, she got a worm. He was on the patio. Where'd he come from? So what I'm going to do, they like moisture. Now, of course, not over waterlogging them, but some moisture. So I'm going to add some peat moss. Peat moss is really good for retaining moisture in your soil. When you don't want too much, you just add a little bit, because these are smaller cells, and I'm only going to do 1 seed per cell. I'm not going to do a lot of peat moss, but honestly, I think I'm going to mix it in one of these trays first, and then fill the cells with it, because I don't want too much. But so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do, these are both by Miracle Grow, and I know there's a lot floating around right now saying Miracle Grow is terrible and blah blah blah, but it's actually done well for me when I was using it last year. And I bought these last year. These are leftover. So I have seed starting potting mix for fast root development, and it has the Miracle Grow in it, and then I have the Miracle Grow Shagnum Peat Moss, retains moisture and nutrients. So that's what we want to do, a combination of those. And I'm just going to kind of mix it in here so I don't do like too much peat moss. I like to mix in the peat moss versus having like a full layer of it. That's just me. Sometimes I'll layer it depending on what you're planting. This doesn't really need like a lot of peat moss in there. So I'm just kind of mixing it in this container together. Now be careful with peat moss, and a lot of these soil mixtures can irritate your skin. Peat moss is known for that. If you don't wash your hands right away, it can irritate your skin really bad, so keep that in mind. And then I'm going to come and actually cut off the ends of all these little guys here. I'm actually not going to do all of them. I'm just going to do a few and see if we can get a few to germinate that way. So I'm just going to nick the ends so you can see the inside there just a little bit. You want to do the rounded end, not the, because they're going to grow from the pointy end, so you don't want to cut that off. So I got 3, 4, we'll do 6, 5, and 6. And then the rest I'm just going to leave as whole. I did soak all of them though. Okay, so we're going to do 6 of them, and then we've got, I don't know how many in here total. Probably got about a dozen seeds here, so. Alright, so I'm going to put my mixture into the cell. Well, I'm going to just use this one. This one's whole. Where did my, oh, there's my shovel. Sure.
Hi.
So I'm going to fill these up. They're not very deep.
Oh, there's a boo-boo.
Hi, buddy. What are you doing?
Well, she's trying to scoop video. Stop it.
It's
No,
okay.
come here.
So we're going to get all these filled up.
What's the matter? Come on, you want to see my one thing?
And these are real loofah. They're going to be like a loofah plant. And hopefully we can get them to germinate. And then you want to have these on a very strong trellis. So I don't have one yet. I didn't want to buy one for these until I know that they're going to germinate and live long enough. So I'm going to wait to do that. There's quite a few vining plants I have in my garden. I have sweet pea that I haven't planted yet. I had that growing in the greenhouse as well. That also died on me. A lot of things died when we moved. It was really cold out there and we had to take the greenhouse down to move. And we just couldn't bring them all inside. And even the ones we did bring inside, it did not all survive. So unfortunately, we're kind of starting over in a lot of ways, but that's okay. So now my garden is fully outside, and eventually, hopefully, I will make my way into having a greenhouse outside. A full actual greenhouse, just a small one to start my seeds. To where they're more monitored, because I don't want to take up a lot of space in my house to do that, if I can help it. And my house temperature is not always the same. We kind of fluctuate with our, at nighttime we like to sleep when it's colder. So, alright, now I'm just going to dump this. I have 6 cells filled up here out of that mixture. So these are what, 3, 6, 9, 12 in there. So that's probably, one of these is probably good enough for all my seeds. Let me count how many seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, we have 13, so I'll plant 2 in 1. Not a big deal. Just gonna mix up a little bit more of the soil and peat moss. I'm not even doing half and half. I'm doing mostly seed starting mix. Hopefully that's just enough, but not too much. I can't really dump this back into either of those bags. So now I gotta, oh yeah, look at that. That worked out perfectly, almost. There's a little bit. We'll share some out of that cell with this cell. So what I typically do, sometimes I'll put a little bit of water in the bottom of these, but I don't do too much. I usually mist them for the first few days with a water bottle. It's just, I don't want to waterlog them. So I might put a little bit. I might do just a little bit, just enough for the bottom to reach it so they stay kind of moist. But for now, I think I'm just going to mist them. We'll see what I end up doing. So now I'm just going to, they don't need to go deep. Just going to poke a finger into each of them and just drop a seed in. Just cover them up. And they do have a little bit longer of a growing season, so we may not see them pop up for a little while. You just have to be patient with these seeds. And patience is not always my virtue, my thing. But when growing, you just, you know, you want it to come right now. I want to see them grow, but gotta be patient with the baby seeds. And we're gonna drop 2 in this one, because why not? I'm gonna add a little bit more soil in that one. Not as full. We're just going to cover it up. Not too deep, because we want the light to be able to come to hit that, you know. Be able to grow. This one's got some clumps. I'm going to add a sprinkle a little bit over top. And just cover them up. Okay, so now we've got 3, 6, 9, 12. So we've got 13 total seeds in here. And let's go inside and get it set up where I want it to be. And I'll show you how this handy little tray works. And this came in a pack of at least, I have 4 of them here. I thought there was 5 or 6. I don't know, I could be missing one. And then I put my little tag in there. I may have to cut this one down a little bit. Let's see. Well, I think it'll fit. Yeah, it barely fits in there. All right. So now let's take them inside, get them all hooked up and watered. All right, so it is all set up now. So you do have to plug it in. Excuse my wall. We're getting ready to actually paint in here. And then rip out these carpets. So if it gets messy in here, we don't mind. So I'm going to put it in here. This is our second living room, I guess you would call it. We have a den downstairs, and we really don't use this room much right now, so I might actually bring my plant stand in here and put it on there. But this, so see, the lights are kind of underneath, and then I'm going to leave it kind of partially open. Now I can't find my spray bottle at the moment, so I did go ahead and add a little bit of water. It actually soaked up a lot of it already. I did it to about here, so it probably soaked up about half, which is dry soil right now, so that makes sense. And the only downfall with these is there's no timer, so you do have to remember to come in, unplug them. So basically I do it during the day when the sun is out. That way it's not like they're getting this all night and then can't sleep, you know, during the day. Then it would be sun coming in the windows. So I do it that way. And then it is all, how many is there? 1, 2, 3. There's 5. There's 5 total. So this is actually what it looks like. This one popped off the lid, so that's what I'm going to take that off. But so it's just these little plug-ins. They're all together on this wire here, and then you have multiple plugs for all the different ones. So yeah, there's 5 total. And this just pops right back on. No big deal. And that is it. So now I just have to remember each day to check the water level, make sure it's not too soggy, but not too dry. So I'm doing loofahs in this one. I believe that's all the loofah seeds I have left. And then I may do other things in the other ones that are kind of tropical type plants to get them started. And then we'll see once they get nice and strong. I do have other grow lights I can bring in here and put them in bigger containers and just kind of get them stronger and stronger before I put them outside. Right now it's still getting kind of cold out. We've had a lot of rain, so that is one reason I don't want to plant these in the ground yet, because it's not, these need consistent consistency and heat. They prefer like 70 to 80 degree weather, and that's not Ohio's weather right now. It can get that high, but it doesn't stay, it doesn't maintain. So to get your seeds started and to get a root formed and a strong plant, it's best to do it this way. Get them strong, get them germinated, get a root system going, and then I may plant them in the ground if it's steady warmth out at that point, and I may not. I may end up putting them in bigger pots until they get more sturdy and it's warmer out, because we're only in May right now. So come probably July, August, it'll get to that heat, hopefully. And then at that point I could plant them outside for sure. But yeah, so there's my loofahs, and I don't know what I'm going to do next. I might end up doing some, I may end up doing ashwagandha and some things, because this is how I started my ashwagandha, was in one of these. So it worked really well. My loofahs worked really well. I had other things growing in these apple seeds and things that worked really well. So I don't know. Let's see how this does, and I'll see what else we will plant. So end up just being one video. I guess this is the setup. In the beginning I said I would do a second video, but this is it. So not really warranting for another video. So yeah, that's it. They're pretty neat. I got these on Amazon. Like I said, it came in the pack of 5 altogether. I don't remember what I paid for them. I bought them last year. So these are like a seed starting kit of some sort. But if anybody wants me to look up the information, I can in my Amazon history if you want to try to purchase some of your own. So that is all. Thanks for watching.